This is the Focus Shift podcast, your best listening experience for creating your best online business. We'll focus on topics that help you get discovered. So sit back, listen, take notes if you like, and get excited about growing your business.
Today, we're unpacking something really fascinating, a real cultural paradox defining creative life right now. Think about it. You've got this phone in your pocket, right? An amazing camera, instant perfect pictures, AI fixing everything.
Everything, automatically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yet Gen Z, the youngest, most digital generation, they're the ones driving this huge, surprising comeback for, well, old school analog film. Slow, grainy film photography.
It's an absolutely brilliant paradox, isn't it? And, our mission for this deep dive isn't just to say, oh, it's a retro trend. It's deeper.
Much deeper.
Yeah, this isn't really about the camera tech itself or the film chemistry. It's a signal, a huge cultural signal about what this generation wants, what they crave.
Okay.
So we want to unpack the why. What's behind this craving? And then, really importantly, what does this whole analog renaissance mean for, anyone creating content, building brands, thinking about strategy?
Right. And looking at the sources, it seems like there are maybe four main themes popping up again and again.
Yeah, that's what we found too.
We've got this idea of slowness as a big draw. Then there's the power of imperfection, the need for actual physical things, ritual, and maybe the biggest one, just being totally burned out by digital life.
Let's start with that first one, the slowness.
Yeah.
Because it really feels revolutionary, doesn't it? Gen Z grew up with everything instant. Instant feedback, infinite options.
Right. Speed is everything.
So choosing something deliberately slow, something with built-in constraints like film, that feels, well, radical now.
It really is like a quiet rebellion against the algorithm, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We actually found some specific numbers on this. Pretty startling. A 2024 Guardian piece, it said 66%, two-thirds of Gen Z film shooters say it helps them slow down.
That's huge.
Yeah, and be more intentional. That word came up a lot. Intentional with their craft.
And that intentionality, that's the absolute core of it, I think. I mean, picture the actual act of shooting film. You've got, 24 shots, maybe 36?
Right, not unlimited.
You just can't rattle off 50 pictures hoping one works. You actually have to think before you click. Composition, light, the moment.
Because every shot costs something. Time, money, effort. It's finite.
It forces you to be mindful, present.
Yeah.
You're not using the camera like a machine gun. It's more like a precision tool.
It's the total opposite of having infinite digital storage and that pressure to constantly reshoot, right? The endless do-overs.
Exactly. And that leads straight into the next big driver, which is this embrace of imperfection. If you slow down, if you accept those limits.
You have to accept the result too, warts and all.
Precisely. Film is unpredictable by nature.
Yeah.
You get light leaks sometimes, maybe some grain. Colors shift in ways you didn't quite plan.
Yeah.
And that's the appeal. It's the antidote to that super smooth, flawless, almost clinical perfection you see everywhere online, especially on Instagram.
That feels like the real mindset shift. One of the sources quoted someone saying, "The mistakes are romantic." Think about that. A mistake isn't an error to fix or filter away. It's part of the story. It adds value.
That Lewis magazine piece put it really well. Something like, there's joy in imperfection. A blur that feels emotional, not technical.
Emotional, not technical. I like that.
We're searching for the human touch in images, aren't we? That digital hyper-perfection can feel cold, almost machine-made, unrealistic.
Yeah, definitely unattainable sometimes.
Whereas film, it just feels more honest. It offers this kind of unvarnished truth.
A dose of reality, which frankly feels refreshing when we're all so tired of the constant performance of online life.
Exactly, that performance.
The little flaws in the film photo kind of prove the moment was real, lived in, not staged and polished to death. It's okay to be a bit messy.
And it helps escape that comparison trap too, doesn't it? On social media, you're constantly seeing your own messy reality next to someone else's perfectly curated highlight reel.
Right, which is exhausting.
Film adds this layer of charming unpredictability. It says, yeah, this isn't perfect, and that's okay. That's what makes it interesting.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So intentionality, embracing flaws.
Yeah.
That's the foundation. But then there's this other piece you mentioned, the feel of it all. The ritual, the physicality.
Oh, absolutely crucial. We've seen this generation bring back vinyl, right? Physical music media.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the same impulse with photography. They're picking up old disposable cameras, vintage SLRs, not because they remember using them back in the day they weren't even born.
Oh, Right.
Oh.
No personal nostalgia there.
It's because they crave the process, the actual doing of it.
Can you walk us through that ritual? Because it seems like that's where a lot of the value lies for them.
Yeah, it completely changes the experience from just tapping a screen. It's a whole sequence. You've got the satisfying mechanical act of loading the film roll.
Click.
Yeah, winding the crank, carrying this physical object, the camera,
Yeah.
taking your limited shots. And then this is key, though, wait.
The agony and ecstasy of waiting for development.
Exactly. Delayed gratification. It's completely counter to the instant everything digital world.
And then the final product often becomes physical too.
Yeah.
That tangible aspect seems huge. There's a New York Post survey, right? 2025.
Yeah, that one was striking. 43% of Gen Zers printing photos regularly. 43%.
Compare that to boomers, just 5%. That's a massive difference.
It's a direct reaction to digital burnout, I think. Why print?
Yeah.
Because digital stuff often feels, well, temporary. Like it could just disappear.
We save everything to the cloud, which, yeah, someone said it feels like an abyss.
An abyss. Perfect word. You might have thousands of photos, but you can't hold them. A print is real. It's there. It exists off the screen. It feels permanent.
And that links back to the constraints we talked about. Film's power comes partly from having no preview, no deleting, no second guessing.
Totally. Think about the mental load of managing digital photos. Which of the 100 shots do I keep? How do I edit it? Filter it? When's the best time to post? Who liked it? It's work.
It's exhausting.
Film just cuts through all that. You shoot, you wait, you get what you get. There's mystery. There's constraint. And weirdly, that lack of control feels incredibly freeing for a generation that's constantly monitored and feels pressure to curate everything.
It really is the ultimate pushback. Slow and limited in a world obsessed with fast and infinite.
And the whole aesthetic mirrors that. That
Right.
retro Y2K vibe, the harsh flash from disposable cameras. It's popular because it evokes a time before constant online visibility.
Right, before everything had to be perfect and performed for an audience.
The look itself sort of carries the feeling of a simpler time, less pressure.
Okay, so the why seems pretty clear now. Authenticity slowing down, ritual, physicality, pushing back against digital overload. But let's shift gears. For people listening, creatives, marketers, businesses, how do you actually use this insight? It's not like everyone's going to ditch their digital gear.
No, absolutely not. And that's not the point. The real opportunity is to blend the analog philosophy, the feeling, the aesthetic into modern workflows.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to deliver that analog sensibility without necessarily making everyone, build a darkroom.
So how do you do that blending without it just feeling like a cheap filter? Like, aesthetic cosplay.
That's the key question. The execution has to be smart, intentional. The research points to using specific film emulation tools, things like LUTs.
LUTs. For people who aren't photo-video pros, what are those exactly?
You think of them as really sophisticated color grading presets, but they're designed to mimic specific, well-loved types of film.
Can you give some examples?
Sure. You might use a LUT that copies Kodak Portra 400, known for great skin tones, warm feel, or maybe Fuji Superia for punchier colors, especially greens, or a classic like Tri-X 400 for that gritty, contrasty black and white look.
Okay, so it's not just vintage filter, it's evoking a specific film's character.
Exactly. You're tapping into a visual history and emotional language that people recognize and connect with, even subconsciously.
But hang on, couldn't that still feel superficial? Like if I shoot 500 digital shots and just slap a portrait filter on one, does that really capture the spirit of analog? Isn't that just dressing it up?
That's a really important point. And the answer is yes, it can be superficial if that's all you do. The real trick is to integrate the philosophy of constraint into the actual shooting process itself.
Oh, okay. Not just in post-production.
Right. The sources talk about using artificial constraints, even when you're shooting digital, forcing that intentionality.
Artificial constraint. I like that. What does that look like in practice?
Well, you could challenge yourself, or maybe your team, to shoot a whole project with only, say, 36 exposures allowed, like a digital roll.
Okay. That would definitely make you think twice before clicking.
Or commit to using only one prime lens, no zooming for a whole shoot. It forces you to move your feet, to compose more carefully. Film makes you value each frame, right?
Right.
Applying that kind of discipline digitally shifts the whole mindset. It moves away from just quantity and puts the focus back on quality. That resonates with the analog spirit.
So it becomes about the creative process itself, not just faking the look afterwards. You're actually slowing down the creation part.
Precisely. And that shift in approach, that's the real lesson for marketing, for branding. It's about selling the experience, the craft, not just the final image format.
So the trend is really about craving authenticity, patience.
Yeah.
How should brands talk about this? What's the message?
It needs to go way beyond just saying vintage look. The messaging has to highlight the craft, the intent. Instead of we used a cool filter, maybe it's something like every frame is intentional. You emphasize the discipline.
And focus on the feeling, not just the look.
Exactly. Highlight the story behind it. Tell the client you'll feel this photo, not just see it. And definitely lean into the tangible value. Your images deserve to exist off the screen.
Like keepsakes, not just data points.
Keepsakes. Perfect. That reframing makes it about craftsmanship, lasting value. It sets it apart from the endless stream of disposable digital stuff we see every day.
That really elevates it from a trend to a core value proposition.
Absolutely. This whole analog revival, fundamentally, it's a cultural movement trying to figure out what meaning looks like when everything digital feels overwhelming and maybe a bit empty.
Yeah.
It's Gen Z basically saying, okay, if everything's instant and perfect, then maybe slowness, maybe ritual, maybe even imperfection. Maybe that's what's actually valuable now.
Yeah, this has been, a really illuminating deep dive. It really shows this isn't just about old cameras. It's a pretty profound shift towards intentional creativity, finding presence.
It's the ultimate lesson in creating value by embracing limits, isn't it?
It really is. So here's something maybe for you, the listener, to think about after this conversation. If the real value of analog is in slowing down, valuing the process, welcoming constraint, that 24-shot roll philosophy, what parts of your life, maybe your work, your creative habits, your digital routines, what parts could benefit from deliberately adding back some process, some intentional limits?
Good question.
What could you choose to slow down or limit to actually increase its value, its meaning, maybe even its staying power in this incredibly fast-paced world? Something to chew on.
The Focus Shift podcast is presented by PhotoBiz, the best website solution for photographers. Whether you're launching your site or scaling your online business, PhotoBiz has your back. To get started for free, visit photobiz.com today.